Righty.
Okay, so let's go over the questions, I guess.
Okay.
I've got them right here.
Or well, first off, just to like,
Yeah,
do you want to like share our views on it, and then we go over the questions?
yeah, that's a good
Even though,
idea.
I mean, just like a quick summary, we pretty much already have literally talked everything over on the phone.
Yeah. Okay,
But
yes.
just so at least some of it's on the video.
Yeah. Yes, Brother Mitchell, we talked about it on the phone, just so you know, in advance.
For like an hour and a half or more.
Okay, so basically, Kathleen and I talked on the phone about um, how we place valuation on the company and kind of our views on what we should do. Um, my hypothesis has changed. So initially, I thought that it would be best if Osher just licensed the spin brush with Procter and Gamble. They are one of the biggest players in the market, and I felt like it kind of filled a niche that they didn't have. They didn't really offer. They weren't really in the market of. I can't remember exactly, but I feel like they were. Kathleen, do you remember that part um, of the case where it basically? I think it said that they were not as involved in like the power toothbrushes. Do you remember that? Maybe that's just in my mind.
As far as the toothbrush, like why it was
Like going for Procter and Gamble. I can't remember.
okay, so Procter and Gamble, they own Crest, right?
Yeah. Oh, that.
Okay, so Crest did not have a electric toothbrush.
Right. That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I knew it was something from the case that I wasn't forgetting. I'm glad you're here. Okay. So initially, I just thought that he should just license it through Crest, through Procter and Gamble, and kind of be a partner with them through it. But after doing a little bit more research, I think that once he places a decent valuation on the company and maybe even licenses with Crest, sees how much it grows, then sells when he's at a good point where he feels like he's going to make enough money. I also thought that might be a good option. I thought the case was really interesting. I didn't get bored with it like I have with some. I actually really enjoyed reading that one, like I have with some of the past. But yeah, did you have any thoughts, Kathleen? I guess I'm just sharing my overview of what my hypothesis was. I'm not really sharing my summary, but
So I'll just kind of say the part of my case study analysis thing that I wrote up, if that's cool.
okay. Yeah.
So okay. So John Osher is the co-founder and the CEO of Dr. John's Products.
Mm-hmm.
The company created a new and very successful product called the Spin Brush. The Spin Brush is an electric toothbrush that ran from batteries and sold at or around $6. The product was the first of its kind. Other electric toothbrushes were sold at a higher price and were not as affordable as a Spin Brush. By 2000, the company was selling 6,000 items a day. Dr. John's products were sold in large retail chains such as Walmart and Target. Dr. John had been very successful up until this point, although Osher needed to make a decision as to what he should do for the future of the company. In order to achieve more success, the company would have to compete against larger companies such as Procter and Gamble, Johnson and Johnson, Gilead, and Colgate. Osher considered licensing the Procter and Gamble, the Crest brand name for the Spin Brush, because the product line did not have an electric toothbrush. Osher's goal was to keep the business as simple as possible. A decision had to be made to determine if Osher could either sell his product, either sell the company, a license to another company, or stand alone and create a new innovative products. And with that, I was thinking like they could expand to like toothpaste and like other toothbrushes and stuff like that. So that got me thinking as well. But I don't really think that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
As far as what should be done in the case, I believe that the hints provided throughout the case study are reliable. First, we must consider why this is even a big decision for Osher. Why would he even consider selling the company in the first place? In the case study, we discovered that one of Osher's main concern is keeping the company simple and easy. He does not want to overcomplicate things or have a lot to deal with. In the past, Osher has created many successful businesses, all of which he could have kept to himself and to become more successful. Although instead of doing this, he sold the companies. Osher is restless but driven. He comes up with ideas by figuring out a problem or discovering something that could make life easier or more affordable to others and makes a solution to fix it. In the case of the spin brush, he found a product that was in demand by individuals and created a version that was much more affordable to purchase. John evaluated his opportunities by conducting interviews and discovering that the two reasons individuals did not purchase an electric toothbrush were first because they enjoyed using a manual toothbrush and second because they were overpriced. Osher believed that he could solve the issue of the second problem and created a low price and high quality electric toothbrush. Wait, am I going too much into the questions?
Maybe. Here.
Okay.
Maybe. No,
I'll
but
just skip down to like my, I'm sorry.
I'm like,
I'll skip.
Kathleen, you're awesome.
What?
Like mine is not that good. But no, I was gonna say, so I think I really like what you said about kind of him wanting to hit the mark with the more affordable toothbrush, even with the people who typically use a manual toothbrush, because I mean, the cost comparison is really close, and for a few more dollars, somebody might be willing to try, this new product. I think that was really smart. And I also, I love what we talked about earlier on the phone when you were talking about just how driven he is and how restless he gets with his ideas or inventions or whatever you want to call them, I guess, business ideas, products. And so that also really swayed where my hypothesis went. I feel like that really helped me to better develop, something that would suit his lifestyle as well, taking that into consideration. Let's see here.
Yeah, because I think if I made a company that was successful and making money, I would not even, I wouldn't consider selling it. Like that wouldn't even be on the plate. So if he's thinking of selling it and like, I don't know if I want this company, then his heart and his soul, or whatever you want to say, is not into it. Whereas at the beginning it was, and now it's not. And like ultimately, I don't believe that he's going to end up being happy keeping this because it's done. Like he's created this grand idea, it's successful. Now he wants to move on, and so I think that's.
Yeah, I mean, so basically his options, and we learned this a little bit from the case study videos on how to analyze a case. Basically, he needs to decide if he's going to license it, to operate the company as a standalone, to grow it, and it said specifically in the video to let it grow organically, or if he's going to sell the company or the idea. So since he does have a really good track record for starting new businesses and then selling them at a profit, I don't know. I think it would be smart for him to build it up, and then look at selling it for that reason. But I also wonder if maybe like, I don't know. I think that his resume is really helpful, helping us get to know like why he makes the decisions he makes, things like that. But I also wonder if maybe it's in there as like a wrench too, like to throw me off, because I feel like I want to make a decision based on my feelings, more than maybe like, I don't know, like feeling what he would want to do. Oh yeah, go ahead.
See, after we talked, that's what swayed my decision to say that he should. We kind of like swapped views there. That he should license it first, because at first I was like, oh, back to his resume, and I was thinking like, oh, he what's it called? What's it called?
Hasbro, like with the
like, oh, he just like sells companies and stuff like that. But if you look at the time periods for them, they're a lot longer. This one has not been in operation for that long. So really he hasn't hit that mark of like getting tired of it or, whatever. So like he hasn't hit that success. Like it's successful, but it's just barely like getting up there. Like that was just the first quarter was in 1999, and then 2000 like was just the beginning of it. So
I feel like his deal with Hasbro was the best example with me of of building it up to a certain point and then selling it for the highest profit. Maybe, you know, what I'm thinking happened is he either A, he got restless and tired of it and just wanted to sell it because he could and he wanted to do something different, or he saw the product peak and decided to sell it at a high. I don't know what his reasoning was behind it. But going into this first question for the discussion prep, it talks about Osher's process for identifying opportunities and building companies. What do we think about it? I think we've kind of addressed that already. I mean, I think he has a major knack for identifying opportunities and figuring out where a hole in the market is, trying to figure out what needs to fill it. What are people wanting? What are people wanting that they don't know that they want? You know, like an electric toothbrush, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The earrings. Like, people didn't even know they needed that kind of a specialty store, but he did really well and people loved it. So when he sees these ideas or comes up with them, he just takes off with them. He's really passionate. He's obviously very passionate about them. I feel like we already covered a couple of these questions. Like you already talked about who he is, John Osher, Osher, however you say it.
Yeah.
The other question was, how does he come up with his ideas? I think personally, he just looks, again, like I said already, like he looks for
very aware of his surroundings and like what. Yeah.
He's smart. Like he's super smart. I mean, the spinning sucker or ring pop or whatever it was, like,
yeah.
I mean, and it just took off. It's so, I mean, those kinds of novelty candies that light up and make noise, they are, I mean, they cost nothing to make, but they are so, like, they sell at such a good markup. So smart, and people like them. People buy them.
Kids want them like all the time. I remember I always wanted stuff like that. Like,
I can attest to that. And they put everything at our 4-year-old's level, so he always wants to buy it. He always wants to grab it and get it. The next idea, is spin brush a good idea? I think we already addressed that. Like, yeah, it's a good idea. It's
a great idea. Like, I'm honestly a bit surprised that other companies did not do it before.
Yeah.
But then
like
what I wrote,
luxury. Yeah.
In my analysis was that I think that no other companies had done it before, because like it says, okay. Okay. So it says, okay, so Osher, like, he had experience from like prior like business startups and stuff, because it said that his experience in the toy industry, he knew that that he could manufacture products at a low cost using plants from the East. And so larger companies, what?
No, I forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I totally forgot.
So he already had like a connection to where he could do it at. And then also another thing is that he is so big on keeping everything so small, like having minimal people, minimal staff, so that's minimal people for idea, or like not for ideas, but like managing. And like, you think that the larger a company gets with unneeded people, the more of a mess, the harder it is to like get stuff done. And so like it said that the one company had been in the process of doing it, and you think of like all the levels of, like, I think of my company, we like BAE Systems. Oh man, I hate doing this stuff when I say stuff like, oh no, well, it doesn't even matter. Isn't that a negative thing? But like, so larger companies, like, to get anything like agreed upon, or like to come to like anything done, like for me to get never mind. For someone to get something done, like, it will take like a year to like get something agreed upon, like a little thing, you know? So you think they're going to come up with a new product, that's like huge. So then like with him, he's so big into just keeping everything small, minimal, and by doing that, I think that's like why he was like able to get this thing up and running in like a year or so, I think it was. And yeah, like he had the connection in the East or whatever with that the plant. And so he already knew of whatever. So anyway, I don't know if that really answered it. I don't know if what do
No,
you
I
think?
think it was really good. I mean, I think that the simplicity of his company and the fact that, you know, there were only like, I think it said 9 employees. I think that really helped him in the long run, because when he was bringing it to the table, he basically comes in like guns blazing. Here's my product. It's on the market. He took market share, not a lot, but significant for how new this product was.
Oh yeah,
Market
definitely.
share from all of the big players in the market. And he just comes in with this, I mean, we could call it a rinky dink operation. It wasn't really, because it was very well thought out and very simple and very well planned is what it was. It wasn't so much that it was tiny and just, it happened. It was well thought out. It was well planned. He knew what he was doing. And I think you made a really good point with keeping it small.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think other companies were just really focused on their luxury toothbrushes, their power toothbrushes that were, you know, over $50 or more. So they probably just weren't as concerned with a toothbrush, with a power toothbrush at a lower price point, because they're trying to market their higher cost toothbrushes.
Yeah, and they probably would get like a bigger profit off of their more expensive toothbrush versus a less expensive one.
Yeah, exactly.
But not expecting that another company would just come up and then make a low price toothbrush that then a lot of people are wanting to buy.
Yeah. Well, and then, so this next question, you and I had talked about this a bit. You had given me your formula that you had used also, but how much is Spinbrush worth? So I was kind of looking up on the internet, trying to figure out, I read like a Forbes article, trying to figure out, you know, what is the best way to evaluate or to put a value on a small company. And there were a lot of different ideas. You know, one of the ideas is that, you know, like if the company has a patent in place for a product, like a successful product has a patent, they say minimum like $1 million right there, like in the value of the company, if it's successful. Because I mean, I know there's lots of patents maybe out there that are just, you know, might not be a really sought after product, but this one obviously it did well in the market. So the fact that they have a patent, that increases the valuation of the company. Each of the knowledgeable employees, so they have 9 employees. The article I read also suggested that sometimes, depending on the role that the employees play, again, it said that it could be like up to $1 million per person, depending on what they bring to the table. But what I did was I just went ahead and took the basic numbers that we were given from the sales that they were having in their fourth quarter, which was basically 6,000 units per day. What I did was I just took that and multiplied it by 365 days in a year. I don't know if I did this right, but I got 2,190,000 units. I multiplied that by the $6 guesstimation that most of the toothbrushes would be sold at. So this means that there would be a yearly sales amount, like just from sales, of $13 million per year. And that's assuming that there's no dip in the sales and no growth in the sales. So either way, over $13 million per year, I feel like is pretty significant just with sales. So it's definitely a worthwhile product. And then Kathleen, I don't know if you had it written down. I do have mine written down. The one that you told me, like how you multiplied their market share from their fourth quarter by the,
Yeah. Well, okay, so what I did was it said for the year of 1999, Spinbrush was worth 0.2% of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you go to the 1 second, Momento, okay. You go to the.
I think it's the Exhibit 4. Was it Exhibit 4?
Yeah. So it says that the retail dollar in sales is $230.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I just multiplied 0.2% by that.
Okay.
And so that would be 0.4616 million dollars. And that's like the whole year, and they didn't have first, second, or third quarter sales. So I mean, you can multiply the 0.6%, which was the fourth quarter, by 74.7 and find out how much that would be. So like, I actually didn't do that one. So
I'll do it really quick. Hang on.
06 times 74.7
Okay.
Equals, I got Excel open. I can do that. Okay. That would be 4.482 million.
Per quarter, right?
Yeah, for the fourth quarter, yeah.
So that would be about 16 million.
Yeah, 17.92. Yeah, so like we're
for the year. So
yeah, so that's definitely like a lot more of like the total than what's it called than we than like the average or whatever it's called. Yeah, or then like the total sales or whatever. Just so.
And so what would based on the yearly, so just since it was only fourth quarter, say we only did the 0.2 multiplied by the 300, what was that number? Sorry, I keep flipping between screens.
230.8.
Yeah, what's that number?
The answer was 0.4616. Is that even right though? Does that even make sense?
Hang on. I'll do it really quick.
Oh no! My answer is wrong. It's supposed to be 0.006. That would be 1.79 million.
Oh, okay. So this would be 0.002 times 0.8. So this would be 0.46. So basically, okay. So how would that? So we did the valuation wrong.
Well, that's the number I came up with for the first place for it. So I mean, I guess that's like $500,000 or something
per year, like for the valuation of the company.
Yeah,
it would be more than that because.
But then just by doing the fourth quarter, that's 1.79 million in sales.
I think
maybe I'm misinterpreting what this like graph thing means.
Maybe we are. Brother Mitchell, please help us. Say that. He's gonna watch this, so maybe he can explain it a little bit better. Yeah, because I'm a little bit confused on the valuation. I mean, I know that in the videos and in the directions, he was like, yeah, you can use these numbers and you can use these numbers. So I was kind of looking at, there was something I looked at, but I couldn't find there weren't costs per, there weren't share costs or anything like that. But one thing I found a really good way to find valuation is like the price to sales ratio. So basically you would divide the stock price by sales per share. But since I didn't see there was no stock information though that I could tell, unless I'm reading every chart wrong.
No, I looked for it too. I saw all the other companies, but not that one.
Well, yeah, I think it's because it's so new. It entered in the fourth quarter, so they don't really have a history of it. But so let's see here. And then the other, let's see here, the PE ratio for the stock. Yeah, anyways. So yeah, so I was a little bit confused about that. But I do think that the company, this is just me personally, I think that the company should be valued at least at the amount they're making per year. I mean, if he was going to sell it, I don't think he would sell it right away. Ultimately, like we had talked about, I do think he should license it. I do think what he should do what he's done in the past with other companies. He should ride it out a little while and then sell it when it's profitable for him.
Yes, like once they have like a full year of sales and like gain more market shares and stuff or whatever, or like more market power, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Should definitely sell it.
And then so yeah, basically what should he do? Yeah, ride it out a little bit and then sell it when it's profitable. Again, I'm having a hard time coming up with a real good valuation based on the information here. I'm struggling with it. I'm actually going to, because since Reed's in the same class, he hasn't done all of this part yet. So I'm actually gonna see what he says, because I wanted to talk to him about it too, because he's usually so good with this kind of stuff, and I feel like I'm not always very good with this kind of stuff. Like Reed's pretty good at figuring out like evaluating companies and all the math portion. Like that's the part that I feel like sometimes I struggle with. I could write about it all day long. I could see the pros and cons of everything, but I struggle with the math portion sometimes.
For the sake of this, just so we have a definite answer in here, at least I'll just say this is my definite answer, kind of. But like, hopefully
we have something.
Hopefully, don't get marked down if it's wrong. So the way that I evaluated this company is just multiplied the 0.2% by the total number of retail sales in order to find how much sells for the year. But I really feel like those two numbers should have added or should have equaled the same. So like I feel like that's why it might not be right, but we're just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
Because I've literally spent way too long trying to figure this out.
Because we're supposed
and you have to.
And I know. I think I'm just overthinking it. And we're supposed to put like a timestamp of when we came up with our answer on our video.
Oh.
So I guess we could just end it with our answer.
Yeah.
Right at the end.
About what he should do.
Yeah, because otherwise he's gonna have to watch this whole video and be bored to death. So, okay, so let's do this. We have kind of two ideas. So my idea for evaluating the company was to base it off of sales for the first year.
Oh wait, does the timestamp, is that supposed to be more of like?
It's just so we can skip ahead in the video. That's
like
all.
For the hypothesis, like as far as like what he should, like it's about what John should do, right?
Yeah. I think for us, like you and I individually have to come up with the hypothesis on our own and turn all that in. But I think for this one, we just have to say what will John do.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So we'll just say that we think he should license through Crest, right? And build the company a little bit. See how it builds after licensing through Crest, and then eventually just selling his shares. Because that's basically what he would be doing if he was licensing through Procter and Gamble. Basically, they'd be buying into his company, and they'd be kind of working in a partnership type thing. But ultimately, I do think he should sell it based on some of the information that you and I had talked about. Okay, wait a minute. Based on his business history and his talents. And then you had, you multiplied the percentage of sales, right? By, is that what it's called? The percentage of sales?
No, it's actually the,
what is it? That's, no, not the percentages. Sorry. The selected retail, the market share. You multiplied, that's what it is. It was the market share percentage. You multiplied the market share percentage by the category size for the retail in dollar sales, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that's our answer.
Yeah, so we think that he should sell it. after building it up, after licensing to Crest. And so I had a change of heart as to what should be done, because at first I just thought he should sell it right away. But he should definitely build it up a bit, because you can make a lot more money by doing that.
Yeah, and mine.
And really,
oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I was.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, really, it hasn't been in operation long enough for it to be the time of like,
yeah,
or like his usual, like usually he will stick to a business for a little bit longer than like what he did, than what
when I
this
think
company has been open for.
he's obviously super smart when it comes to marketing. His Try Me, like patenting the packaging was amazing. That was super smart.
Yeah.
Try Me packaging, because I think about that, and if I go, like if there's like a toothbrush that's an electric toothbrush, and I've thought about this because I've done it. You go, and if I can't press the button and make it work, I won't buy it. It's funny, but it's that's how it is. I don't know. So, all right. So we got this. So I'll just let him know that our answers are right at the end.
Okay.
And that we were a little bit confused about evaluating the company, and maybe see if he had any recommendations. Do you want me to do that? And then
yeah.
And
then
we
got this done.
We got it done. All right. Thank you for helping me with this. Yeah. Good luck with your personal hypothesis and everything. I'm like a little I'm still a little bit behind, but with that, I've done quite a bit, but I'm like still a little confused. So if I stop this broadcast, will we still be able to be on?
I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it real quick then.